Hi everyone, my name is Shivani and I'm a licensed immigration consultant based in Ontario, Canada, and I'm also the founder of Zeste Immigration Services Incorporation. Today in this video, we'll be talking about one of the most popular topics, which is cost of living in Canada for international students 2024. So without any further ado, let's get started. Canada is one of the most popular destinations for international students. The country offers diverse opportunities for personal and professional growth. For those who came to study in Canada, the good news is that living expenses in Canada for international students are generally cheaper than other Anglophone countries such as UK, Australia, and the USA. Moreover, studying in Canada is considered a rewarding investment for the future of the students, as they will get access to premier education in tandem with a global recognized degree. It would be a prudent choice to plan and reckon their expenses before going to Canada, and that is why I'm making this video today for you all. Now, very first thing is, with respect to government, you need to have certain proof in order to show proof of funds. So RCIC needs evidence that candidates have sufficient funds to study and live in the country. Canadian universities provide a cost of living estimate to the incoming students. Moreover, to live a comfortable life in Canada, students should have at least about $12,000 Canadian dollars per annum. Now let's talk about Canadian education system. The Canadian education system is administered by provinces and is divided into 4 levels: pre-elementary, elementary or primary, secondary, and post-secondary. In Canada, colleges primarily offer certificates, diplomas, and vocational training programs, whereas universities offer degree programs such as bachelor's, master's, and doctorate, that means PhD degrees. With its unique culture, scenic beauty, extraordinary wildlife, excellent medical and healthcare facilities, best colleges and universities, Canada is rightfully the best country in the world for living. No wonder so many people choose to immigrate to Canada every single year. Everything about Canada is perfect and promising. This country is worth all the praise associated with it. Now let's dive right into the most important thing, which is average living expenses for international students in Canada. Students need to set aside money for other day-to-day and unavoidable expenses and should be prepared for recurring expenses such as housing and accommodations, food, grocery, travel, health insurance, transportation, clothing, entertainment, and so on. Moreover, the best way to manage the cost of living in Canada for international students and other expenses, they should apply for International Student Identification Card on reaching Canada for additional benefits. Now, I hope you are able to see a nice small table on your screen right now that shows monthly cost of living in Canada for international students, or students, I should say. These expenses include accommodation. I've put here with the shared apartments because usually students prefer to live in shared apartments in order to minimize the costs, travel, food, entertainment, health insurance, utilities, and so on. Now let's dive right into cost of accommodation for international students. Student living expenses are usually based on their lifestyle. Moreover, if they decide to live on campus or off campus, the accommodation cost would vary depending on this situation. The on-campus facility will be offered to them depending on the university they decide to apply to. It is advisable to apply separately for on-campus accommodation. Moreover, the cost for on-campus accommodation may range anywhere from, let's say, 8,000 Canadian dollars to 10,000 Canadian dollars annually. However, a shared condo or apartment would cost the students around about 400 to 700 Canadian dollars monthly. Now again, it all depends on their location and the time of the year they are renting it. Moreover, according to Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation published Housing Research and the Market Report states the average 2-bedroom rent in Canada is around Canadian dollars 1,167 or $160 a month. The rent may vary based on the city. So on your screen right now, you will be able to see just an average cost based on the type of accommodation. Now let's quickly see city-wise average rentals in Canada. So again, I hope you're able to see a small table on your screen right now. This has this information on the major cities like Vancouver, Edmonton, Victoria, Calgary, Ottawa, and Toronto. This is an average rent for a 2-bedroom. Now let's talk more about cost of living for international students city-wise. Without a doubt, living expenses in Canada for international students will vary depending or based on the province where the students decides to live in. So again, I hope you're able to see a small table right now on your screen. I think putting tables make it a little bit easy. So instead of just me telling you about the pricing costs and all that, I thought it's a good idea for you to actually look at the table so that way you understand it better. So here on the table, as you can see, there are just major cities and average annual cost of living as per the city. Again, these are the average prices as of today, or I would say, yes, just like in 2023, 2024. But again, things may vary depending on the lifestyle and the city and the province again. Now let's talk about travel expenses. Depending on where the student chooses to live in Canada, on campus or off campus, their commute expense would vary. If they choose to travel by public transportation, subway, or commuter trains, one-way public transit or transportation fares can cost few dollars, and monthly passes can cost from about Canadian $80 to about $150 to $200. Now again, here's a small table on your screen right now that will give you just an average monthly cost of these public transportations that has subway, buses, taxis as well. Now let's look at the education cost in Canada. The education cost in Canada depends on the type of course or program or the university or the college that you're going for. Every year, universities or institutions, colleges, they revise their tuition fees for almost all sorts of programs. Now students must confirm the tuition fees before applying to a university or a college. Let us look at the average education cost of different courses or programs in Canada. So I hope you're able to see the table on your screen right now. This is divided as per the undergraduate course or program, as well as versus the postgraduate course or program, and as per the discipline. So pharmacy, medicine, agriculture, technologies, engineering, nursing, business management, etc. Again, these are just average costs. It may differ, again, depending on the place where you plan to study, the province, the city, the college, the university. Now let's look at the university tuition fees in Canada. Like most developed and smart countries, students in Canada enjoy free public school up to 18 years of their age. The cost of education in Canada is comparatively less than that in the US and some of the other Anglophone countries. The average cost of a single year for a 4-year graduate program in Canada is about $22,000, $24,000 for students with a college residence, and $11,000 for students living at home. For more expensive universities, the same fee can be as much as about $60,000 to about $70,000 respectively. But usually, if you're going for a 1-year diploma certificate program, usually in colleges, it will cost you about between $12,000 to somewhere about, I would say, $20,000. For a 2-year program, if you pick, let's say, one of the Atlantic side of the provinces or Atlantic side of the colleges and all that, then it will be cheaper versus picking a program and college in one of the popular provinces like Ontario, BC, and all that, right? So a 2-year program can range between, let's say, $20,000 to $24,000 to $30,000 to $35,000. Again, this 2-year program can be a diploma or something like that, right? Now, master's degree may be around, let's say, about $40,000 to even $60,000, $65,000, $70,000, and a little bit more with the PhDs. Now let's see tuition costs for undergraduate courses or programs in Canada, which is right in front of you. Again, these are just approximate prices. Now let's look at tuition costs for postgraduate programs in Canada. Again, these are just approximate numbers. Now, mostly Canadians like to ride or drive to work. In major Canadian cities, people prefer to use public transportation, being aware of the effects of pollution and climate crisis. The local transportation is affordable in Canada. A one-way ticket costs about $3.25 to $4, while the cost of monthly transportation pass will be about $90 to $100. A car costs about, let's say, starting from $20,000 and then up, $25,000 and up, and can go unbelievably high depending on the model and features and the car company or the brand. Now let's quickly talk about health insurance for international students. All international students in Canada must have health insurance, and the available medical coverage varies based on the province. Usually, most of the times, your health insurance covered by the college or the university, but that's something that you're going to have to double check. Most of the time it's covered because you're paying it with your tuition fees, and most of the time it's mentioned there when you actually take admission. But if in case you don't have this information, make sure to communicate with your college. Most of the time you're covered by your college or the university in that case. Now let's talk about taxes in Canada. Tax is something that almost no one likes in Canada, but you have to do it, you have to pay. Once students start studying in Canada and decide to work, then they would require a social insurance number, also known as SIN. It indicates that they will be allowed to work 20 hours a week during the academic sessions and full-time during the vacation time. Moreover, if they decide to work during the study period, then their income would be taxable. Now let's quickly talk about affordable cities in Canada for international students. To manage the living expenses in Canada for international students, they should rather gather in-depth information about the cities and the cost of living before moving to Canada. Now let's quickly take a look at a small table of some affordable cities in Canada. There are more, but here are just some of them in front of you. Now let's look at factors affecting cost of living in Canada for students. Once a student has decided to study in Canada, multiple factors affect the cost of living in Canada. Major factors that affect the cost of living in Canada for international students are here. First is based on the educational institution. It is a no-brainer that the cost of living varies based on the city and the university wherever the student chooses to study. Every college living expense will depend on the university a student is planning to attend to comprehend which university will best suit the needs in the students. Big suburban areas versus the city. The cost of living in urban centers is higher than the suburbs. Many students prefer on-campus housing, which might not be the lowest cost option available, always, but would relatively convenient option, I would say. In Canada, Vancouver and Toronto are the most expensive cities to live in, and with the scarcity of affordable housing in Toronto, costs have accelerated there and continue to skyrocket. Now, since we're talking all about the money, let's take a look at tips to save money in Canada. Now, international students especially should comprehend that it is essential to keep in mind that the savings will always get them through. Students need to plan this in advance in order to avoid debt. Here are a few steps that can help international students to save money in Canada. First is make a spending plan, or expenditure plan, I would say. Allocate the amount that they want to spend on clothing, grocery, entertainment, and so on. So restrict yourselves from getting beyond. So stick to the plan. When you formulate how you want to spend your money, you automatically keep in mind the factor of saving money. So prioritize saving instead of putting in crumbs that are left over at the end of the month. Number 2, apply for scholarships. So students should ensure to apply for scholarships if available, if they're eligible in Canada, because Canada offers several scholarships to international students. Now, how you'll be able to find this information? Well, check the official website of your college or university where you're planning to take admission. You may be able to find some more information over there. You can also call them or send them an email, to communicate this or to learn more about this. Next is students should outline their priorities. It is important to list down the necessary expenses for the month, and students must be careful and act in a sensible manner when handling their expenses. Don't go ahead and spend it randomly on anything that you don't really want. Right? So prefer to spend on what you need instead of versus you want, right? Next is travel through public transit. Students should consider using public transit instead of cars and Ubers or taxis. Moreover, students should ensure to check for student discounts on public transit passes. Yes, guys, there are discounts available, so make sure you check that. Part-time jobs. One of the best ways to manage expenses in Canada is via opting for part-time positions or jobs in Canada. The student visa allows international students to take up different positions or jobs on campus part-time, sometimes off campus as well. So after completing 6 months of study, you would be able to leverage off-campus employment permits. Next is student's card. To relieve the burden of expenses, the country has a provision of offering discounts to the international students through students card. So international students can leverage the discounts available at bookstores, departmental stores, such as even you would get some discounts on your laptops, iPhones, and all that. So yes, keep that in mind. Your student card is really a discount card. Now, since we are talking all about money, planning, saving, managing, and all that, then it's really important, especially because you're international people, you're international students, you have home, you have family back home. So yes, you may want to transfer money to people in your back home. It could be India or anywhere else. So yes, there is an application that I want to talk about, because you need to have a platform that's safe, that's secured, and it allows you to transfer your money just like that. Plus, there shouldn't be any additional charges or fees, right? So yes, it's PayPenny. PayPenny allows you to transfer money to your loved ones in your home country with no additional fees. There's no fees for that. Plus, you will get best exchange rates on PayPenny. Here's some information that you may want to consider about PayPenny. So yes, guys, if you're coming to Canada, if you plan to transfer money to your loved ones in your back home, it could be occasional, it could be regular, make sure you consider PayPenny. Canada versus other countries. International students must make a thorough comparative study before choosing a country to study in. Every destination has a different cost of accommodation, education, etc. Let us have a quick look or a glance at the accommodation cost of different countries for international students. I hope you're able to see this table on your screen right now. So it's Canada, the accommodation costs in Canada versus UK, USA, UAE, Germany, Australia. Alright, so I really hope this video was useful to you. If it was, then please hit the subscribe button, which is right there. Subscribe to this channel so that you always get updated every single time I post a new video. Hit the bell icon right there. Again, that will give you or send you notifications every single time I post a new video. So yes, feel free to contact us if you want to get your immigration process done. Again, my name is Shivani and I'm from Zeste Immigration Services Incorporation. You can contact us using the website, which is www.zeste.ca, or simply go to the description box of this video and you'll find the link to book an appointment or to book a case assessment or other ways to contact us. So all the very best to you all for your future, and we are always here to help you with any of the immigration or visa related process that you might want to go through. Take care, guys. Bye bye. And yeah, see you next time.